Hello, everybody, and welcome to round two of Stuck Inside These Four Walls. This is a monthly show where there are four hosts asking each other four rounds of questions. And, well, it's been a little bit of extra long month because we did this on what did we post this on the 3rd of last month or so, something like that. So we've been busy. Exactly. Life,
Yeah,
as
I got a life,
tenants.
I got a
Yeah,
life.
exactly. Yeah, and plus the fact that we're busy too with shows and channels and
Yeah.
this and that fest here, traveling to Liverpool there.
Yeah.
It's been a madhouse, right? So I'm one of your four co-hosts, Tom Hunyadi. You may know me from my other shows, right? Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast, who I'll introduce my co-host in a second, or whatever, wherever he's at. And my other show, Talk More Talk, he's still the Beatles Videocast, which I'll introduce the other co-host there in a minute as well. but first, let me introduce my Two Legs co-host. He is Andy Nickel. He's my backwards traveler. He's my buddy, and we're going to be at the fest here real soon. And Andy, what's going on?
Yes, sir, and happy to be. It is still a monthly show because, as you mentioned, we did drop the first one of this early February, and we're doing this on the 25th of March, so we are holding true to our monthly. We just spread it out a little bit more. That's
right.
All.
Yeah, it doesn't matter when in the month it gets posted, as long as it gets posted the following month, right?
And it will. And I'm doing fine, Tom, and happy to be here again with Joe Mayo and Beatly Tone. This across four time zones and 2 continents to do this,
right.
And happy to be here again and come up with a show that's pretty fun with a different co-host and kicking around Beatle questions of any kind of variety and see where they go and just kind of spurs, kind of brings on discussion and we see where we're at with everything. So I'm doing very well.
Right.
Thanks.
Very good. And this, like Andy said, these questions can be opinionated questions from the 5 camps, right? Beatles, John, Paul, George, and Ringo solo. So introducing next, he's got a wonderful YouTube channel called Beatly Tone's Beatles Channel, and he is Beatly Tone. Tone, my friend.
Hello, Tom.
How was Liverpool?
Liverpool was fantastic. I haven't been for about 6 years, and it was brilliant. We just did all the touristy stuff, all the Beatley stuff. I'm just putting a video together to show my guys what is there in Liverpool, and we had a fantastic time. We were there for 3 or 4 days, and it was really, really great. We had a
Tone, did you stay at the Hard Day's Night Hotel?
Not this time, no. But I did the last time. The last time we went, which was about 2015 or something like that. We did stay there, but it's very expensive, and it's. You've been in there, haven't you, Andy? You've been there, yeah.
I've lived there for 2 years.
Oh, did you? Yeah. I mean, it's a themed hotel, but the theme is basically they've got pictures of the Beatles on the walls, and that's it. And that's
now, let me ask you, Tone, were you in Liverpool on a Saturday night by any chance? Were you there on a Saturday night?
Yeah, we were there.
Does downtown Liverpool not turn into a madhouse on a Saturday night with all the wags everywhere?
Absolutely mental.
Crazy.
The things people were wearing.
It's crazy. It's like Halloween every Saturday night.
It was like a spectacle. It was like a carnival with floats going past.
Oh my God! Every Saturday. So if you don't know, when I say wags, I mean wives and girlfriends, and it's
wives and girlfriends,
crazy. Yeah. Every Saturday night in Liverpool, it was like Halloween every freaking Saturday.
Yeah, there were belts that were skirts. I've seen bigger belts than some of the skirts that were walking down Matthew Street. But oh my God, it was rocking, absolutely rocking. I mean, there's live music in virtually every venue, and the place was absolutely rocking. It was brilliant.
Did you make your way into the Grape? Did you make your way into the Grapes pub?
No, we didn't go into the Grapes. I think we went into the Rubber Soul pub. And we went to the Philharmonic where
the Philharmonic pub, yes,
where Paul did the thing with James Corden.
Yep.
We went to a few pubs, but Saturday night we were actually in the cavern lounge actually.
Oh, the main stage, yeah.
Yeah, the main stage. So not where the Beatles played with the arch, but they've now got an extra bit where they have tribute bands and usually with support acts and stuff like that. It's a kind of a ticketed
event.
Okay,
yeah,
well, we don't want to give everything away here, Tone, because we want to make sure that people
No.
watch the video when you post it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And besides, you said earlier before we started shooting, you want to move it along. So
Yeah.
You want to?
Well,
So here we are.
I can't wait for that video, Tone. I'll be watching it.
Cool.
Last
And
but not
I can think of somebody else that'll be watching it too.
Oh yeah, of course. But last but not least, he is Joe Mayo, who's got that wonderful YouTube channel. Me and Mr. Mayo has been going on 11 years now, Joe? Was it?
Oh yeah, it's 11 years.
11 years. And how was your trip to Liverpool, Joe?
Oh, I still haven't been there yet.
That's right.
You know,
We got,
and
you and I, we still got to get there. We're going to get there one of these days.
definitely one of these days when my feet are on the ground. Definitely.
There you go. There you go. Well, okay. So last month I started off with the questions. Now we're going to move it here this way to my partner Annie Nichols. Annie, you are going to start the questioning this time around, and don't forget we got a new rule here. Once Andy asks the question, and then once Joe Mayo is done answering and Tone starts answering the question, Joe is completely done then. So Joe cannot. So Joe, don't forget.
Good luck with
anything. That. Try to remember everything you want to say.
It's not easy.
Once Tone starts talking, you are done. And same for everybody. Everybody.
I looked the wrong way.
So John, just to confirm, I'll ask it. I'll kick it to Joe. Then it'll kick to Tone. Then it'll kick to you, and then to me. Okay.
All right.
And then Joe will be the one to question.
Okay. So question number one, and we're off and running. Okay.
We're off and running.
If you could have 3 instruments the Beatles used, which ones would you buy if they ever came on the market? Joe.
Okay, John's Rickenbacker, Paul's Hofner bass, and Ringo's Ludwig drums. I assume that's what you mean, right?
That's right.
Okay, that's easy.
Easy. Tone?
As a drummer, definitely Ringo's Ludwig kit, the silver grey kit, fantastic. I would also go for the Hofner bass, and I would probably go for one of George's Gretsch guitars.
Poor John.
Okay, Tom.
Well, listen, the Hofner. I mean, all the way. I mean, now listen. In the end of time, I think the one instrument that I think would be the most valuable of all time will be that Hofner bass. I would say one of George's Gretches, as well as Rocky.
Oh, nice! Cool mini replica, very cool.
Yeah, Mad Mini Guitars, I believe this was. Yeah.
Wow. For myself, I'm going to go obviously the Hofner as well. I also for a John pick, I want John's guitar that he used during Let It Be, that white one, the white Rickenbacker. Is that a Rickenbacker or a Gretsch?
I don't know.
Tone.
A Gibson, I think.
Yeah, Gibson.
That
one, that big
Gibson,
white one.
Gibson SG.
It's so iconic.
No, I want an SG.
I don't know. That's the only one I know.
I'd want John's Let It Be guitar. You know, it's not as iconic as some of George's guitars, but for that Let It Be period, it's pretty iconic. And I'm going to go a little left field for my third instrument. I want the Mellotron that Paul played on. I want that.
Strawberry Fields. Yeah.
I want the Mellotron. Yes.
Nice, partner. Yes.
I want the Mellotron. Yes.
Paul's Strawberry Fields.
I can't believe nobody went for Mal Evans's Anvil.
If I would have thought of it, I might have said it.
All right.
Okay, that's question one. Over to now Joe to ask his question.
All right. My first question. Now, sometimes when I'm doing my channel, I get comments on this and different opinions. When the Beatles, I should say, well, let me do this. Paul, George, and Ringo got together to do the anthology, and they did "Free as a Bird" and "Real Love." You know, the songs went out as the Beatles, right? And I get sometimes people who say, "Well, I like the fact that it's the Beatles. They are the Beatles on that." Other people say, "Well, it's not really the Beatles. It's the Threedles, really, because it's not official because John isn't really alive, and so it's just them. And even though it's a tape, and he didn't give his consent because he wasn't alive at the time, it's really the Threedles. I don't believe it's the Beatles. I don't feel that. I was wondering, what do you guys think? What is it? Is it the Beatles?" Or is it the Threedles, and maybe a little explanation or rationale or whatever. Okay, so now I'm gonna I start with Tone,
Tone.
correct? Okay,
Tone
Tone.
gives his answer to your question. Yep.
Okay. 100% for me, it's the Beatles. Uh, John wrote the song. He sings on the song. He plays on the song. Why is it different to? Oh, just because. All right, he's not actually in the studio with them, but to me, it's a Beatles track. They took, like they said, when they talked about it, it was like John had recorded the demo and then he was going on holiday and said, "Finish this, guys," and that's what it was. To me, it's the Beatles. I never really, I don't do the Threedles thing. That's my opinion. I think it's a genuine Beatles track, and if there's a singles box, then "Free as a Bird" and Real Love should be in that singles box, as just as much as "She Loves You" or "I Want to Hold Your Hand."
Okay, well, we already know what Andy thinks. Okay, so Tom, what do you think?
You know what? I think the Threedles name, I think it's very creative. I kind of like it in a way, but it's the Beatles. Look, Yoko knew John inside and out. If she felt that John wouldn't have wanted this, I don't think she would have given them the tracks. Even if he stayed with May Pang, I still think that those songs would have ended up with them, or even if he was still with Cynthia. It doesn't matter. Somehow, and if the events that happened in December still happened, no matter what woman he was with, I still think that those tapes would have ended up with the Threedles. But I'm 100%. I believe it's the Beatles 100%. And again, John is on that on those records, so it is the Beatles.
Okay, and Andy, what do you think?
It's 3 for 3 on that one. Since the day I heard those songs, they were Beatles songs to me as a teenager, and that has not changed one iota. It's no different than them adding tracks to, their musical bits to John's songs on the White Album or other songs when he wasn't around. It's the Beatles. The Threedles, as Tom says, is a cute way to call it, but it's the Beatles, and it's how it's going to be referred to. I think most people would agree with us, but we'll see. What about you, Joe?
Well, I actually agree. So it's 4 for 4. I think it's the Beatles because they said it was the Beatles. They said we're the Beatles for these two songs, or whatever. We are the Beatles on this, And although John wasn't there, Yoko has the authority to speak on his behalf, so that's fine. The only reason I brought it up was I thought that was an interesting question because I have encountered a mixed reaction to that, and I didn't know if any of you would feel like some other people will, yeah, it's a Beatles song. It's a Beatles record, and it's their call.
Yep.
Okay. Very good.
Good question, right. Joe.
Tone.
Okay, you're gonna like this. Not a lot.
Boy.
No crazy game like the last one.
No, that's coming. This is coming.
No, I had fun with that.
Okay, so my first question is, what is your favourite Paul is Dead clue?
Naturally this one has to start with me. I did my little Paul is Dead thing. I read all the clues. It was fine when you're a teenager, but once you grow up a little bit, it's blah blah blah. But anyways, my favorite would probably be there's another clue for you all. The walrus was Paul. I mean, does that count? That's
that was
yeah.
I guess that counts, right?
But no, I mean, I'll change it. The Abbey Road cover, the Barefoot. That's probably, my favorite.
It counts because the point of the Walrus was Paul was that at the time they said that for Eskimos the Walrus is a symbol of death, which is absolute nonsense. It's just not. That's just not true. But that was the reason.
And that was before it broke out. Like, it wasn't. I never. John was talking about in general when people read into Beatles songs in general. You know, like Lucy in the Sky, LSD, and that kind of thing.
Right. So, Andy?
I'm going to go with this one. That's a good one. But I'm going to go with the Sgt. Pepper album. I'm going to go with OPD, officially pronounced dead. The patch on the blue uniform that said OPD, which they thought stood for officially pronounced dead. That one takes the cake for me. There's lots of infamous ones out there, and the real conspiracy theorists, people look at the Paperback Writer and Rain videos and look at the chipped tooth and go, see, that's when he died. See,
Oh my God. Yeah.
But I'll go with OPD on Sgt. Pepper.
And that stands for something else, police or something.
It's a police thing.
Police department or something.
Yeah, that's what I'll go with OPD.
Well, the first one that came to mind for me is when you play Revolution 9 backwards and it supposedly says "Turn Me On, Dead Man" over and over again.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't believe Paul's dead. I don't believe that they intended to make these clues for fun to make you think he was dead. However, the reason I named this one is because that's the only one that if I'm going to scratch my head about it being deliberate is that because I just think like number 9 has number 9 is 3 syllables, and it goes "Turn me on, dead man. Turn me on, dead man." That's 5 syllables. How in the world, if you play backwards, do you get 5 syllables from 3? Number 9, etc. So I don't understand that.
It's kind of the way that the words kind of merge together. I think when you play it backwards, I think that's what does it.
Well, that's the one that stood out in my mind, and it's kind of the most fun. And I've done that when I was younger. I played it back, backwards.
Me too.
So there you go for that.
So mine is this is one that I did a video on Paul is Dead and kind of debunking all the clues. But when I was doing the research for it, I found something that I'd never read before, never heard of, and it's just brilliant. Well, it just made me laugh. Really, it was just brilliant. But so I don't know if you know this one, but when you take Magical Mystery Tour, right, you turn it upside down, right. If you take the word Beatles and join up all the stars on it, right, you get a phone number. So the S is like a 5, 3. So the number 537-1038. That's a phone number. Now the clue was that if you phone that on a Wednesday morning
at 5
at 5 a.m. well, you would get a cryptic message from Billy Shears. I mean, I tried it. I just got this bloke on the other end of the phone saying, "Thank you for calling. You're in a queue. Press 1 for customer services. Press 2 for accounts. Press 3 for a cryptic message from Billy Shears."
Wouldn't that only work if you called in the 60s anyway?
Yeah.
I don't think there was any time when that.
No, of course not.
But yeah, I guess so at the time. But that's that configuration of 3 numbers and 4 numbers. That's like a UK 60s phone number format.
Okay, very good.
It just made me laugh when
that was good.
Yeah.
That was
fantastic.
Good one, Tom.
All right, here we go. All right, so mine.
Tom's turn.
So, Paul McCartney in the 80s had 3 #1 singles here in the States, Tone. Okay, we're not going to include Pipes of Peace they're over there in the UK. So, I have for you 5 singles that were also released in the 80s. Now, I want you to take Coming Up, Ebony and Ivory, and Say, Say, Say. I want you to keep 1, but replace 2 with these 5 singles that I'm going to get, that you'll have the option of picking for
Can
his.
I write them down?
I mean, if you want to.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
So what was it? This
So
is US number ones. Ebony
Yes,
and
US
Ivory.
number ones.
Say. And what was the other one? Oh, coming
Ebony
up.
and Ivory, coming up. Ebony and Ivory and Say were his 3 US number ones. Okay.
Okay.
Now I want you to keep one of those, but I want you to replace 2 with these other singles from the 80s.
Okay.
And you let me know if you think they could have been or if you think they would have been a number 1 in your opinion. Okay. So your 5 choices are Waterfalls, Tug of War, Pretty Little Head, Figure of 8, and So Bad. So, Andy, what of the 3 would you keep as number 1, and what 2 would you replace, and what singles would you replace them as?
All right, since it's the U.S. and we know
Yes.
we're talking about the live version of Coming Up, I'm actually going to ditch Coming Up and Say Adios. I'm going to keep Ebony and Ivory, and I'm going to replace those 2 with I'm going to go with Pretty Little Head, the single remix, the single version, and I'm going to go with Waterfalls.
Of course you are.
This is where I do my honeymooners line. Like I always do. Whoa, what a surprise!
Yeah,
No, that's good.
But Pretty Little Head, the single version, not the album version.
Right. Okay. So, Joe, which one of these 3 do you keep as a number 1, but replace them with, a number 1 of your liking or choosing?
Are these ones that you think are most likely to be number 1 that would make number 1, or what you like? Okay.
What
Well,
you would replace as what you would think, you would have liked to have seen them as a number 1.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to keep Coming Up and ditch Say, and Ebony and Ivory, even though, they're good.
Yeah.
And I would put Tug of War, and then I would put So Bad.
Okay. Very good.
Oh, So Bad. There you go.
Yeah. Tone.
Okay, so I'm keeping Coming Up live. This is the live version, isn't it?
Yes.
I love the live. I know you disagree with me, Andy, because I heard you say it on the bracket video the other day. But I'm not mad about the studio version where it's speeded up, but I love the live version. So I'm keeping Coming Up live, ditching Say, and Ebony and Ivory, and the dreadful keyboard, oh Lord, rhyme. I'm getting rid of that. And I don't think either of these would make number 1 either here or in the US, but my favourite 2 from those 5 would be Tug of War and Pretty Little Head.
Okay.
The single version, not the album version, yeah.
And I agree with you. I don't think any of these songs have any reason being a number 1. That's why I picked these particular songs.
Right.
Oh, you hate Tug of War, right? Pushing and pulling.
No, I don't think the song Tug of War is a deserving number 1 song. I don't.
Jesus Christ Almighty!
Yeah.
I think it is. Anyway, go ahead.
Wait till he gets to Jersey. I'm going to give him a bada bing. Oh.
Waterfalls is too slow.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm keeping Coming Up as well, and I'm getting rid of Ebony and Ivory and Say, and I will pick So Bad and Figure of 8.
Now, the single version of Figure of 8 or the album version?
Single version of Figure of 8. Yes, absolutely.
Gotcha.
So those are what I would have replaced Ebony and Ivory and Say as U.S. number 1s.
As U.S. number, hypothetically, right? Yeah.
Hypothetically, absolutely.
Hypothetically.
Okay.
All right. So that was round 1,
That's
ladies
round
and
1.
gentlemen.
Round 1.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Round 2. Here we go. The Beatles' early catalog features a lot of heavy use of harmonica. Which early era Beatles song with heavy harmonica use is your favorite, and why?
I got to go first. I'll Get You. If it's got harmonica in there, well, right? A little,
yeah, a little bit.
Not through the whole thing, but
A little bit, yeah. It's got some
It's
harmonica
either
in it.
that or Thank You Girl. Thank You Girl was my first thing I thought of, but
Okay.
I like
What
I'll
are you
get
gonna
you a
go
little
with?
better. I like I'll get you a little better.
So Joe's going with I'll Get You. Okay. Tone?
I'm gonna go for narrowly pushing out I Should Have Known Better. Please, me.
Can't argue with that one. Good choice. Tom?
I'm gonna go Love Me Do. I think there's a nice little harmonica solo there, right? And it's a good song. I'll be honest with you, I am not the biggest fan of the harmonica stuff, but
Oh, no?
I'll go with Love Me Do.
All right. I'm going to go with Deeper Album cut off the first album, which Tone did a great deep dive video on at 60th anniversary. Later album track side 2, I'm going to go with There's a Place. I love the harmonica on There's a Place. It opens it up right at the track. Right there is the harmonica right in your face. So, yeah. It's funny. There's so many, the harmonicas in so many early Beatles tracks, between 62, 3, and 4. And then it kind of just died off there. Probably I should have known better. It might have been the last time it was used, maybe. Just off the top of my head.
I got to think about that a little bit.
There
What
one
do you
on
think?
Raccoon? Rocky Raccoon? Is that's got?
Yes,
There's a harmonica on there.
Yeah.
And I think Don't Pass Me By, too, right? A little bit?
Can't remember.
Good morning has those big yeah.
So just early Beatles question. So there you go. That's my second one. So now down to Joe for round 2.
All right. Of all the songs that the Beatles gave away to other artists, which one do you wish they had recorded themselves on, an official single or album? Not other sources, but in this studio for their albums or a single.
That's a good and tough question.
Yeah, that is a great question. And
I didn't think of it. Robert S. did.
Well, you messaged us 5 hours ago and said this is hard. And to be honest, 5 hours ago I didn't have my questions either.
Isn't that something? No, there's so much to choose from, and it's hard.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Everything. It could be anything, and you can't even think of it.
And I found that maybe like 2 or 3 weeks ago, I've thought of a question. I thought, oh yeah, that would be a great one for Stuck Inside These Walls. And then like the next day, I'm thinking, no, it's rubbish. It's rubbish.
All right, Tone. What do you think? What do you think, Tone?
Right. Okay. So I'm not really mad about any of the sort of the early ones that they gave away, but maybe something like Come and Get It. I think probably, the ones, Peter and Gordon and, Billy J, and I'm not mad about any of them really, but maybe I Want to Be a Man. Oh, now I'm torn.
Well, they did that.
Yeah, but they didn't do it.
It's probably ones they didn't do.
They never did.
I'm going with Come and Get It.
Come and Get It. Okay, Tom.
I think that's a very easy pick. I like that, but I'm gonna go with Goodbye. I think they would do something cool, and plus I love Paul's vocals on that. I think that would be a good deep cut song on a Beatles record.
Very good. Goodbye. Like White Album, Abbey Road. Maybe that would have been perfectly on White Album, wouldn't it?
Oh, I think so. Definitely get rid of Wild Honey Pie and throw on Goodbye.
Oh, dude, that would have been great. Oh,
I'm not having
that. Tone's like, I gotta keep Wild Honey Pie.
I'm keeping Wild Honey Pie.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go with runner-up. This is a tough question. Runner-up, Come and Get It. But the song I wish they would have done themselves, and there is a demo of it that exists in poor quality, just John. And that's the song they gave to Billy J, who I actually should have shared a bus ride with from the airport out of Chicago last year at the fest. Bad to Me. I wish the Beatles did Bad to Me. I really do.
Yeah, that was my second pick, Bad to Me. But I was edging between that and this one, which the one I'm going to name is one that they did on the the BBC. It's my favorite BBC track, and it's "I'll Be on My Way." I really like that version. Except,
Nice.
no, sorry, George, you screwed up the guitar solo again. But other than that, I love that version.
Now, but imagine that song came out. I mean, I remember in one of the I think it's the Playboy interview, John refers to the song as "The Sun Is Fading Away." He didn't even know the name of the song. He goes, "What's that song called?"
Oh, he says that a lot. He says "green onion." I think he calls glass onion green onion.
Right. Yeah. That was a revelation here in that song. Yeah, but good pick.
Yeah. Okay.
Good pick. We are now going over to Tone for his second question.
Okay, so my second question, I feel a little bit disjointed from, but obviously all three of you guys are going to the Fest for Beatles fans next week.
Sure.
So my question to you is there a particular item that you're looking to buy, and what are you most looking forward to about the fest? You know, whether it be, well, I'm not going to say what it may be.
Is that a double question?
That's a great question.
Is there an item that you're crate digging for?
My co-host it's a good thing he's the first one up for this round, because boy, does he have something he's looking for. Go.
Listen, the only thing I really need on vinyl and is no.
Yes.
Actually, no. I have the reissue, so I don't.
No,
really
you
don't.
Want the original.
That doesn't count.
No, I have the reissue, but what I really need, and I really don't want to sell anybody because I don't want them to go after it if they have it.
Does it start with it? Is the last letter a D of the whole thing?
No, and it's Rush's. The second fireman.
Hey, let me tell you something. Nobody at that fest is going to have Rushes, and if they do, it'll be $500. And no vendor at the fest is going to have Rushes. I am telling you, sure as I'm sitting here in New Jersey.
How much you going to spend for this baby? How much you give me for this beautiful mint condition?
Tom,
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that.
Tom,
next week.
love you, but nobody's going to have Rushes at the fest.
And I just happen to have it here too. No, I didn't plan this. I didn't know this.
Right.
Well, Tom, you guys make an arrangement all fair and get that.
But the second half of the question is really, I love meeting people and just getting to see all my YouTube podcaster and friends and fans of our shows and stuff like that. That's really what's most important to me when I go to these hanging out with my buddy Andy and Joe. And all that good stuff, man. That's what I really look forward to.
Awesome. Second part of Tom's answer echoes the same reason, but in terms of your question about the collecting aspect, I mean, after almost 30 years of collecting, since I was basically 10 or 11, I'm very picky and choosy. I don't go in there looking, oh, I've got to try to find this because I've got it already. Now, last year, I stumbled upon a Brazilian pressing of Once Upon a Long Ago, which I didn't even know it existed, and it was a pretty penny, but I grabbed it. So I haven't, although I will tell you, until last year, I was in New York. In Chicago, I had the Holy Grail item I was looking for was Temporary Secretary, which I finally got. But it's one of those things where you're like, I've got to get that, and then somebody happened to have it. But for the most part, if I see something that I like that I don't have, I grab it, but I don't have like a list of saying I've got to get this, because 99 out of 100 I've got it, or it's so rare that I can't afford it. So, but more along the lines of what Tom said, I just go because it's great to meet everybody that we have kind of met virtually over the last few years and in person, and have a good time and collect and sit and talk and have a drink and just shoot the shit and talk Beatles and everything that we love. And that's why we all go.
All right. My turn, right? Well, at first I was thinking, is there really anything that I really want to get specifically? Because I just usually go and see if there's anything that I happen to just see. Oh, yeah, I want that or I need that. But then I thought, no, there is something in particular I'm looking for that I'd like to get, and it should be relatively easy, but it's not. And that's the picture sleeve 45 for the sleeve of John Lennon and Plastic Ono Band, I guess, right? Cold Turkey. That's what I'm looking for. And Last year, I think it was last year might have been very last year. There was somebody. It's even in my video. Some girl got it right next to me, and it was like $10. And
Wow.
I noticed there was a slight tear in it. That's why it was $10. But I would have taken that
Sure.
$10. I just missed it by that much, as they
So
say.
is
Like
the picture disc or picture sleeve?
No,
the
sleeve.
the original
sleeve.
picture
The one with
sleeve.
the tubes on it.
That one.
All of the
Yeah,
stars.
that's not the original. That's not the U.S., is it?
I think
No.
it is.
No,
No.
No, this is Italy. Yeah.
no. I'm looking for the U.S. one. I have some other ones, I forget where, Japan or something, But I want the U. I should have specified. I want the U.S.
Okay.
one, and yeah, that's something that I'm looking for. I don't look hard enough sometimes. When you're doing this recording, making videos, and chronicling everything, which I like to do, and the same things with like concerts or anything. You're not getting into it. You're too busy recording everything. So I got to put the camera away a lot more and start digging more.
Yeah, look
Oh,
first.
and the thing, unanimously, look, I've always said this in the last several years. I love going there just to see everybody, to meet everybody. And I'm not talking about the stars, of which they're not so great anymore. They're not a lot of them. But I go there, the people on YouTube. That concludes Tom and Andy, and if Beatly Tone ever goes, it will be him. And people like that I know from doing YouTube shows and things and other YouTube channels, and of course the people out there that watch my channel, the viewers that want to say hello. That's what I like the best out of it, and that's what I really enjoy.
That Tone, I know that you're not going, but you would, if you would be going, you'd be going for the same reasons that the three of us go.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
100%.
absolutely. Absolutely, and I'll tell you the item that I would be looking for, and I know that Andy's going to tell me that there's no way that anyone at the fest is going to have it, but I'm still looking for Twin Freaks. I'm trying to get that on vinyl.
I mean, you never know who's going to have. They might, but I very doubt it. I doubt it.
I'm looking out for it, but
Never know.
But yeah, that would be the thing that I'd be looking for. But like you say, I'm very jealous that you're all going to be meeting up, and there's other people that I speak to, like Brad and Matt Street, and people like that, and also some people on my channel that will be going as well. So it'll be fantastic. Have an absolute blast, all of you. I'll be watching all your videos.
Thank you.
Well, you know what, Tone, you'll be there with us in spirit, mate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Tom, number 2.
All right, we're gonna do a fun one here. I know Tone's probably got one later, but I figured I'll get mine out of the way now. Okay, this is who would you like to see the four work with at any point in their careers? Okay, so Andy, pick John, Paul, George, or Ringo.
Okay.
Pick one.
Paul.
Okay, A, B, C, or D.
Oh, this is one of them tone games. This is one of them tone games.
Come
on. B.
B. Okay. Who would you like to see Paul McCartney work with? Vanilla Ice, Donny Osmond, or the New Kids on the Block?
Donny
Osmond. That's the only one you can pick out of those. This is great. I'm going to have to do some of these.
Donny Osmond.
Donny Osmond. Okay. All right. Joe. John, George, or Ringo?
Well, I could play it easy and say, well, I'm going to go with Ringo.
Ringo. Okay. A, C, or D? Pick one.
Oh, D.
D. Okay. Who would you like to see Ringo work with? Milli Vanilli, Clay Aiken, or the Jonas Brothers?
Milli Vanilli is a joke. No, that's not my pick. That's a joke, right? As far as Clay Aiken, I'm not 100% sure what he does. I've heard of him. But the Jonas Brothers, aren't they kind of countryish? Or am I not? Or am I not?
I don't know.
I picked the Jonas Brothers. I don't know. Ringo and the Jonas Brothers. I can see that.
Okay. Tone, John, or George?
I'm so fed up with Joe marginalizing John Lennon. I'm going to pick.
Well, you have to understand. I'm doing this. I have to do this deliberately sometimes. All kidding aside, just so people out there don't think it's always John, always John.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going John?
Beatle John.
Okay, A or C?
A.
A. Who would you like to see John work with? Michael Bolton, David Hasselhoff, or the Backstreet Boys?
Oh my god, I'd love to see him work with the Backstreet Boys. It'd be brilliant. It'd be hilarious.
All of these, I hope you know, almost all these could fit Paul. You know,
Yeah.
Very true, Joe. Very true.
you know.
So I guess I get George, and I get to pick from Britney Spears, David Cassidy, or NSYNC.
Oh,
I guess I'm going to pick. He didn't really care for working Madonna so much, so I'm sure Britney Spears would probably be out of the question. I guess I'll go with. Not that I really know any of his music, but I do love his cover of Tomorrow. And that would be David Cassidy.
Good man.
How can you be sure?
Yes, exactly. So that's round 2.
That was
round 2. On to round 3. This is an easy one, but unfortunately, my co-host in Phoenix is not really going to be able to answer this question right. But I bet you after the fest he will. And I think he knows where I'm going with this question. Maybe he doesn't, but he will. Okay.
All right.
And Tone, this is going to be a tough one because it's going to be. We have got somebody in the UK too. All right. What is the better album, the US or the UK? Rubber Soul. Joe.
Are you kidding? U.S. without a doubt. Why? Well, first of all, because I grew up with it, and I do love the UK one as well. But I just think when you get used to it, you find out that it's really cool opening up an album with "I've Just Seen a Face." That's really a cool opener. Drive My Car is a good opener too. But we got that. We have that on Yesterday and Today in the States, so we have it opening another album. But so it opens up beautifully with that wonderful guitar, and then when you turn it over, side 2 opens up with "It's Only Love," which is another great opening track. You know, it's a great. To me, on the UK help, they just kind of like lost, kind of. On second side 2 is a hodgepodge of everything.
And don't underestimate the cultural significance of the American Rubber Soul, because that's what Brian Wilson heard for Pet Sounds, which Tom and Joe don't like. But I think is one of the best records ever made. Tone, I hope you agree. But Brian Wilson was inspired by the American Rubber Soul, not the UK one. Now, over to Tone for his choice, which we know is probably the UK.
Okay, you're going to have to remind me, what are the differences on the US Rubber Soul? What's on it that's not on the UK?
Well, you're also in addition to, I told you that the openers are the 2 sides. You have "I've Just Seen a Face" on the American, and then you have "It's Only Love" opening it up. But you're losing "Nowhere Man." You're losing
What Goes On,
and "If I Needed Someone."
Yes.
But you see, you got to also take into account in the States they were on another album. You know, so they kind of like a cover. It's not like you lost them. They're just not on
Tone, just to give you some, so the U.S. Rubber Soul's got 12 tracks, and I'll just run them down for you real quick. "I've Just Seen a Face," "Norwegian Wood," "You Won't See Me," "Think for Yourself," "The Word," "Michelle," "Flip It Over," side 2, "It's Only Love," "Girl," "I'm Looking Through You," "In My Life," "Wait," and "Run for Your Life." And that's the American Rubber Soul. That's it. So you're losing "Drive My Car," you're losing "What Goes On," you're losing "If I Needed Someone." I think that's it, right?
Unless I'm forgetting one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. You're losing "If I Needed Someone."
No, "Nowhere Man," no "What Goes On," and no "If
"Drive
I
My
Needed
Car."
Someone. But you've got "I've Just Seen a Face" and "It's Only Love."
Yeah,
correct.
12 tracks versus 14. Okay, let's do this scientifically. Right, so 14 tracks versus 12 tracks. That's 1-0 to the UK. No "Drive My Car." That's 2-0 to the UK. No "Nowhere Man." That's 3-0 to the UK. Yeah, but you've got no "What Goes On." Okay, 3-1. But no "If I Needed Something." No, it's the UK. It's still the UK.
It is.
Well,
but if you grew up with the U.S., you might have been different. But that's the beauty of that. Yeah. But you know what? I think for the purity, it makes sense for you to pick the UK. It's just
it makes sense. And by the way, "Nowhere Man" is the only one out of those songs, in my opinion, that I kind of miss. Like I think it fits the mood of Rubber Soul. The other ones, not so much, maybe.
All right, Tom, we know what you're going to say. Mr. CD era guy in the 80s.
He doesn't know yet.
For now.
Yeah.
Look, I am really looking forward listening to everybody, you guys and, Ken and others. I'm really looking forward to getting into the U.S. Rubber Soul. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. But for now, until that happens, I am going to be UK everything, no matter what. I mean, that's it. Just that the way they wanted it is the way I want to listen to it. Now, that being said, I could change my mind in a few weeks. If after I start, we're gonna play it a couple times, maybe, Andy, when I'm visiting you, and
Yep.
I'm looking forward to experiencing that. So, but as of right now, it's the UK.
It's the UK.
It might be something you have to have. I'm burned into you for many decades already. Maybe to really feel it, because you got to think, like Andy was saying. In those days, even though it's not the way they intended it, none of the people knew any. It wasn't until later that you knew how it was.
Right.
So you just grew up with that, and that's your childhood. That's your backdrop to your growing up. Your soundtrack to your life.
I'm intrigued with what's opening the second side. It's Only Love. I'm very much intrigued with that. And then what opens the album again?
I've Just Seen a Face.
I've Just Seen a Face. Yeah, I'm really intrigued by those two factors.
When we drive to Jersey City on Friday, the half hour it takes us to get there. That's what we'll listen to.
Fantastic. But until
can't you hear it in your mind? No.
I can.
That's an opening of an album. If ever I've heard one, it's
1,000%.
I've Just Seen a Face.
So until then, proven otherwise, Tom's going to stick with UK.
And on the next episode of Stuck Inside These Four Walls, I'll let everybody know what I think.
Okay, maybe his opinion's changed. Maybe it's not. We'll see.
And I will as well, because I'll set up a playlist of the US tracks and listen to it like it's the US album and see what.
No, you can't do that. You got to listen to the Capitol mixes.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that.
You can't do that.
Sometimes, and that's a whole nother show. Sometimes I say I defend them because, real quick, for those who don't know, I grew up with the Capitals, right? And then as I got to be around 16, 17, I started getting UKs and Japanese imports, which most of the time were like the UK. And I said, the sound is so much cleaner. And this is the way to go. And I used to say, there's no such album as Yesterday and Today. That's bogus. That's not a real album. Beatles' second album, that's not a real. I became very pompous about it, as I can be. And then now, the last 5-10 years, I've gone back. And I'm like, screw it. I think that I like some of the mixes. They sound tougher.
So I have a kind of similar path with Joe, where I kind of was exposed to both. Dad, being a first-generation Beatles fan, had the American albums, so that's all I had. That was all I was exposed to. And then when I was old enough to start buying CDs in the early 90s, I remember looking at Rubber Soul going, wait a minute, this is not the album that my dad has. What the frig is this? What's this? So I was able to learn really both variations at a young age, and understand at a very young age that, okay, in America we had this, and in the rest of the world, the UK and most of the markets had 14 tracks. So I was really able to appreciate both more of the UK as I got older, because that was the standard official album as we know it. So for sentimental reasons, I'm going to choose the US version of Rubber Soul because it sounds nice, but gun to my head, I'm going to probably go with the UK. So it's a very tough call. Sentimentally, US, but for purist reasons, you got to go with the UK. But that's the best way I could describe it.
Okay.
And that is the end of round 3.
That was the beginning of round 3.
I'm sorry, beginning of round 3. Yes, sorry. Speed us along here. Yes.
So where do I go? I would get a little lost there. All right. Well, my turn, right?
Yes.
A question. All right. Now I have one of those crazy scenarios questions, and I have a few variations of this. And I was trying to think there's so many ways I could go with this. This is how I'm gonna do it for today. Maybe I'll use it again later, another time. Ringo Starr. Okay, he goes to you and his people say, you're gonna have a day with Ringo. You're going to get flown to his studio, and he's going to be working on new music, and everybody's going to be. I mean, Joe Walsh is going to be there. Bruce Sugar, everybody that's going to, maybe even a couple other stars. It's going to be really cool. And you're going to spend the day. You're going to be there. You're going to talk to Ringo, get photos, talk about it, and he's got a lot of time, and he'll chat with you and sit down. You'll be one of the gang. Go to maybe for food and everything, and have a great day. Maybe I don't know how long, like 12 hours, a long time. The most of the day. All right. The only thing is now, it's so silly, but it's fun. In order to do that, what you have to do is, are you willing to give up all of your McCartney archive boxes? And I was trying to debate whether or not you can buy them back, or you can never allow to buy them back. I'm trying because if you, that's the one I was trying to think. I would say, if you want to buy them back, you're always free to buy them back again. But the ones you have, you got to sell off or just give away or whatever. Not sell, give away. You don't get anything for it. You give it away. And would you think it's worth it? If you want to get them again, you can get them again, but it costs you again. So Tone, I'm going to start with you.
So let me just get this straight. So you've got a day with Ringo.
Doing everything, hanging out, everything, eating,
Right,
talking,
okay.
jamming.
Right. Okay. Day with Ringo, and the cost of that is my 13 Paul McCartney
entire archives collection, which doesn't mean you can't get them. You can't get them. You can get them again at some other thing.
I'm taking that. Well, day with Ringo. Yeah, I'd be up for that.
I had some variations, but I'll change them.
Being a drummer, we could talk about drums. We could,
Right, you're a musician. You could jive with him.
He could show me a few things, how he does that, the underarm thing.
All right, so you go with that.
You'd have to, wouldn't you? You'd have to.
Tom.
I'll tell you. I don't know. Tom, how about you?
If this was pre-sober Ringo, I would consider it. But hell no.
Why, you don't like sober Ringo? I miss.
No, but I think that Ringo would be more fun to hang out with. So.
That's an interesting.
Not when
way
he's
to look
wetting
at it.
himself. It won't be.
That's an interesting way to look at it. All right, so that's cool. All right, Andy, how about you? I'm dying to hear what you say.
No.
I had to get a Ringo question. Look at that. I didn't even think of that. No, you guys are McCartney fans to the hilt.
Nope.
I'm glad I didn't ask. What if you can't buy them? And for me, to quote a song that Ringo did on his Time Takes Time album, "In a Heartbeat," I would do it. You know what I mean? And then I started thinking too that if you buy him back, it's like, I don't know how much it costs. I'm trying to figure that.
Watch Tone's video. He told you.
Yeah. It costs a lot to buy him back.
So it's like almost like you're paying for a day with Ringo. Like you're paying,
Yeah, that's
it could be a month with Ringo. The answer is still no.
Oh, well, you're just a Ringo hater. I don't
No, I'm not.
I don't know. I'm playing with love. It's for fun. Okay. But So all right. Well, for me, like I said, a heartbeat. Yeah, but I had other variations that were even more interesting. But I think that could always be another show. All right.
Next month.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Joe.
You're up, Tone.
All right, my question. Okay. So my question to you guys is, what is your most treasured Beatle possession, be it a record or some memorabilia or whatever? What is not? I'm not talking about.
Wait a minute.
Value, not value.
Not the value, but the thing that means the most to you.
Oh, that's a surprise.
Show me what it is and tell me why it's important to you.
Okay. Well, I'm cheating a little bit because this isn't the actual one. Okay, this isn't the actual Abbey Road, but my uncle Sal, was my gateway to the Beatles. He was a massive Beatle fan. Still is. Okay. As a matter of fact, we're next month's my birthday, and we're going to go see Love together in Las Vegas.
Awesome.
I've
with
seen it.
with our wives. So we're looking forward to that. However, so in 1988, I'm 15 years old, and I go to visit him. He's in Mississippi. He's in the Air Force, and so I fly down and spend 2 weeks with him. Well, Beatles 101, right? So we're also doing work around his house. We put up a fence and all that stuff. So I help him doing all this stuff as well. So one of the second or third to the last day we're there, he takes us to the mall, and I said, I still need to get Abbey Road on vinyl. I've got money in my wallet ready to go. And so we get to the record store where it's at, and we're both running to the Beatles section to pick it up. So naturally, he gets it before I do, right? So I'm really ticked off because he's saying, well, I want to get it too. I want to get it too. So he got it. So we go to the register, and he pays for it, gets it in the bag, starts walking, turns around, and hands it to me and gives it to me. So
Nice.
You still have the original one, Tom?
No, I don't.
Ah.
So, but which is unfortunate. But again, I was collecting vinyl at that point in time in '88, but and cassettes and all that stuff. But in the '90s, yeah, I did unfortunately get rid of that original, and it was an '80s pressing too. So I think it had that rainbow capital.
Rainbow or the purple, probably
Right.
the rainbow.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, it was either one of those. But yeah, that was pretty awesome to for him to pay for it.
Was it a Sam Goody? Was it a Sam Goody?
No, I don't remember. But anyways, that's my story.
Great
Cool.
story.
What
you got, Andy?
I've got two items that are they're not really worth all that much. I know Tom, when he asked this question, is it not really value, but it's more personal, and that's two things. And the first one might be a little surprising, maybe not. Is this one right here? This We All Stand Together, the picture disc. I got this probably in 1995, 94 at a Long Island record store, which I don't know if it's still there, called Mr. Cheap Hose on Jericho Turnpike.
Yeah.
I paid $12 for it, and it kind of opened up a world to me of collecting McCartney. And because you can remember seeing all these things in books or whatever, and things look incredibly, it's like, wow, that's pretty rare to come by. And it was $12 in 1990, whatever, it was for a kid who wasn't working, it was like, that was a big deal to get something like that. Now, of course, we've since got it again when we got the 100th anniversary edition. Was it 2 years ago, Tom, that we got that?
Yeah.
But this was one of the first things collectible, somewhat rare. You don't see it every day. And I remember everybody going, wow, that's pretty wild. Rupert, possibly, especially being here in America, Rupert's not really well known in America as he is in the UK.
Right.
So it took on a little bit of a double thing. So there's that one. And then the second one, I actually got at a fest, probably 94 or 5, similar time period. And that is one of the Lost Lennon tapes. And that's Lost Lennon Tapes Volume 10. And again,
That's one of the better ones, actually.
It really is. And again, it's hard to contextualize this now because we have everything available. But to hear songs like Sally and Billy and A Case of the Blues and things like that you didn't really hear, or other arrangements that were a little different, like on Imagine, there's like a kick drum on Imagine. That before the CD and digital age where everything was available, these things were like, wow. And so it opened up another door of collecting. And I think at the time it might have been $12 or something. And of course, my dad took me and he bought it all for me. So even just tracks but this is Joe's right. Sentimentally reasons why these they're not really worth anything, but to me they'll always hold a special place for me for when I got them because it was the beginning of really serious collecting.
Does that have the version of God? Is that the one that has the version of God on there, or am I?
No, not this one. No,
I must be thinking. I forget what I said. No, but there's a good. I think Good Night Vienna. I'm trying to remember. I can't tell them apart sometimes, but that's a good one. I remember from the cover that I like that one. Yeah. All right. So now it's up to me. I was trying to really think about this, and after a little bit of thinking, I came up with the time a few years ago when Sean Lennon had said that he liked what I did on Give Me Some Truth, and he sent me a message, and we did a couple of emails back and forth, and I copied them, the text, so I have them. and he what he liked was that I was listening for every little thing, and I also said what I didn't like. And that's for somebody special. Listen closely. He liked the fact that I didn't like stuff. There's no
Mm,
kissing up, you
no.
know,
Mm,
and especially because of Steel and Glass, I despise that he took the horns out of Steel and. I love to Give Me Some Truth overall, but some things I didn't like, and that was one of them. Steel and Glass.
that's,
I didn't like what they did to that, but along with that, they were sending out these to the people. They gave a special copy. I'm getting ahead of myself of Plastic Ono Band because because Sean like Give Me Some Truth. He gave me free copies of some albums, and one of them was the Give Me Some Truth box set that came out. And along with this, I got a card, to Joe with love from Yoko and Sean,
that's it.
and I got a few of these over, because they sent me some other ones too. They kept sending me things, and it's just very nice to have. And this one, it says "Dear Joe" on it, and it's signed Yoko. And I look pretty close, and you can see like the ink, kind of the way it bleeds a little bit. So I don't think it's a stamper, you know. But I
Yeah,
just thought it was just so nice to get something personal from
that's,
them,
amazing.
you
That's really
know.
fantastic.
Really is.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
and I gotta wound up getting a couple more, but that's another story.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I said, yeah, that if you're looking for something special that means something to you, it's precious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
absolutely.
What do you
that's
got,
really,
Tone?
really great. Okay, so mine's kind of similar, but not quite that similar. So mine is this copy
Ah,
of The Fireman, which I queued up all night to get it signed by Paul. In 2008, he was doing a signing of the Fireman album in London, and you basically had to, I think, yeah, you had to go and queue uh, outside the store. In the middle of the night. It was December, freezing cold, and I did manage to, when he does these things, he only stays for an hour and a half, and then he goes, and it was a Sunday morning. It was a Sunday before Christmas, and it was absolutely freezing cold. But I did get in and got to speak to him, and I'm just really happy that because the first time that I got the High in the Clouds book signed. I forgot to ask him to sign it to Tony, but he did.
Oh wow, wow, that's twice. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm really,
Can,
really
Tom, can I
happy.
see? I'm sorry. Can I see that a little closer?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I want to take. Let's. Oh,
yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, that way. So it
Cheers.
says
Yeah.
to Tony, cheers, Paul McCartney, '08. It was
Very
2008.
nice. It's very
And
nice.
you have a little chat with him. You're up maybe a minute and a half or something with him, and
It was that long, huh? That's good.
yeah, and he said that you've been waiting, that you've been waiting long, in the cold. And
Yes. Yeah, you
I
Yeah,
were,
said,
it's
yeah,
Tone.
5 days with with no
yeah,
with no
yeah,
toilet. Thank you very
yeah.
much.
But yeah, I guess that is probably my most treasured
Treasured
possession.
item.
It means so.
Good.
excellent.
That's a great item there, Tone.
It's meeting Paul McCartney, having a chat with him, and getting something to take away, I guess.
Oh,
I
frame it.
will email you my address so you can send that to me later on. Thank you very much.
Okay, and we're on to now round 4.
No, I
Right?
got to do my number 3.
You did. But you did yours, didn't you?
This is confusing. You did
No,
your
I don't think I
Abbey
did.
Road.
No, because I'm
Yeah.
last. No, because I'm last.
I thought you did.
Did that-
You did Abbey
No,
Road.
my question. Wait.
This is
No,
live
I've only
recording.
done 2. No, I've only done 2. So
Oh, so
I got,
this is your question, right? Okay.
yeah. This is my
Oh, gotcha.
question. Yeah. Okay. So on the opening, the very first episode, way back from a month ago, I asked you to rank the first compilations from John, Paul, George, and Ringo's solo career. I am now going to ask you, and hopefully, Tone, you know of these. I'm going to now ask you to rank the second compilations from both. which are All the Best, Starstruck, Best of Dark Horse, and the John Lennon Collection from 1982.
Oh, okay.
When did Starstruck come out?
That was mid 80s, I believe.
Okay, that one
After
I'm not-
Old Wave. After Old Wave.
After Old Wave. All right, so
Yeah.
I'm up first. So I don't have Starstruck. I don't know it. So by default, that goes to 4. Adios. Best of Dark. Ooh, this is tough. This is really tough because the other 3 are all really good. Man, 3. I guess I gotta go. Oh man, best of Dark Horse 3 and John Lennon Collection 2. Now, on vinyl, that did not include the 1980 Double Fantasy material. However, when it was expanded on CD, it did. So
Right.
what are you referring to?
Are you sure about that?
I
I'm
think
not
it
sure
did.
about it.
I think it did.
No, it did. I bought it in '82 the day it was released.
Yeah,
Pretty-
the CD had Move Over Miss L and Cold Turkey. Okay.
Yeah.
And the
It had-
1980 stuff was not on there,
There-
or is?
No, it was on originally. Yeah, it was on.
Okay, so
You have Just Like Starting Over, Woman, I'm Losing You, Beautiful Boy, Watching the Wheels, and Dear Yoko on it.
Yeah, it had all his songs from Double Fantasy apart from Clean Up Time.
right.
That's the only one that was missing.
Okay, so I stand corrected. I'm gonna go with John Lennon Collection 2. And All the Best, just because that was one of the first exposures that I had to. I mean, it's a toss-up. But I got to say, Best of Dark Horse is really a strong contender. You could have taken any one of these 3 and made them number 1 for me. Because they're all individually so good and encompassing. I mean, I know the Best of Dark Horse is only George's period from 76 on. But you've got 3 brand new tracks on there, which makes that a really, really strong contender. Why it could be number 1. So really, it's a toss-up. If you ask me tomorrow, I could be that's Dark Horse, or John Lennon. But yeah, I'll go All the Best 1 just because it's easier.
Okay. Joe?
All right. Bringing up the rear at number 4, I picked Ringo Starstruck last because, I mean, there's a lot of good Ringo compilations that I like, a few of them, But that one is, it's later material. It's not his strongest material with some exceptions. And I'm not wild about Old Wave, and for example, and stuff like that. So that's number 4. Number 3, I went with the John Lennon Collection. I'm talking about the vinyl, really, because the vinyl, I like it better when they added Move Over Ms. L and Cold Turkey.
Right.
Which I don't think was on. I forget. But I didn't. What I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't on the original vinyl, right? Or was it? Was I forget.
No.
It might have been.
No,
All
I'm
right.
looking at the track list right now. No.
Oh, okay. But anyway, what I didn't like too much about it back in the day in '82, I think it came out. What I didn't like about it was that it just was too much of Double Fantasy on there. I mean, I just thought, even though you didn't need all these tracks on there. And then number 2, I went with All the Best. Which is very tight because, like Andy says, I think these 2 especially very good. The first 2 I have, All the Best is really good. But the reason I edged it out with Dark Horse as number 1 was because of the new songs on there. I'm cheating. I'm saying I really like Poor Little Girl and Cockamamie Business. Was there a third?
Cheer Down.
Yeah,
Cheer Down, of course. God, yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the best song on the album, and that's in my top 5 probably of George Harrison solo songs. Yeah. So I mean, to me, that just for those 3 songs, even, it's great. But I like also the material on there as well, other material.
Mhm.
So there you go.
Okay.
Well, I think I'm more or less a carbon copy of what Joe said, and for the same reason. So, Starstruck, number 4, number 3, the John Lennon Collection, which I didn't even buy at the time because it had so many songs from Double Fantasy. It wasn't giving me anything that I didn't already have, so I didn't buy it. I've got it now, but I didn't buy it at the time. And then it gets tricky. I think that I think All the Best has probably got more, has got better songs on it throughout, but I would go with that as number 2 and Best of Dark Horse as number one because it gives me 3 songs that I didn't have.
Yeah,
That's the reason.
Okay, very good. I will say Starstruck at number 4. Unfortunately, the John Lennon Collection at number 3. I think it might be a little better than Shadefish because you're not getting edited, down versions of a bunch of those songs. I mean, you got the edit of Give Peace a Chance
Give Me a
on
Chance.
Shadefish, right?
Yeah, which is okay with me actually. That one, believe it or not. It's,
Right.
woman is the
Yeah,
bleep of the
I agree.
woman is the bleep of the world is missing a verse in it.
Right. Yeah, it's true. Then I'm going to go surprise people, and I'm going to say All the Best at number 2 because, again, I can't stand when they edit songs. Junior Farm is edit, with a Little Luck is edit, and plus the UK version might be better.
It is. It is.
It might be better.
But the UK version has "We All Stand Together" on it, right?
Win.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Big win. Big
Big
win.
news.
And then I'm going to go with Best of Dark Horse as well. I just adored. I played that thing nonstop when I bought that. When I bought the CD way back when, and However, I wish this song was on it. I wish Faster was on it, but what we got on there, is great, top notch stuff.
Yes,
All right.
Good
Okay,
question.
that was round 3.
That was round 3. Now we're on to 4. Last question for me. Okay. We talked a little bit about unreleased songs before. But what is your favorite / best? It was unreleased at the time, but later then got released, whether it was on the anthologies or the box sets. So songs that sat in the archives for years and years and years and years and years, but later surfaced on the box sets and or the anthologies. Could be a live song, could be an outtake, could be a demo, anything. And we're talking Beatles only here, not solo.
Could be outtake.
It could be solo too. I don't care.
I tell you,
go ahead.
You need to take time to think of this one.
No, rapid fire, babe. Rapid fire.
This has been too rapid, but anyway, all right. Well, the first thing that popped into it's not my final answer, but the first thing that popped into my mind was...
It is going to be your final answer.
No, it's not going to be, just like it hasn't been all along. Leave My Kitten, for everybody. Leave My Kitten Alone is the first thing that popped into my mind, but then you said, well, we could do other... I'm thinking outtakes, and there's outtakes and things I like better than that. But I'll go with Leave My Kitten Alone. It's the first thing that popped into my head. There's probably better answers. And solo, too. There are probably solo ones I love even better than that. But
Yep. Tone?
Going like Joe with instinct, the first thing that I thought of was Not Guilty.
Not Guilty. Okay.
On the anthology, I can't for the life of me understand how that didn't get on the White Album. I just don't get it. It's just a fantastic song.
It never really seemed completed, right? That they got a take that they really liked, or that it was...
Yeah, I know they did 102 takes of it.
I know. What can I tell you?
But that one that's on Anthology 3 is better than a number of songs that are on the White Album, I think.
Fair enough. So Not Guilty for Tone. Tom?
Sour Milk Sea. I'm from the Eastern.
From the Eastern
Sour, all right.
Yeah. I've come to really enjoy that song. Same with what's his name's version as well.
Oh, Jackie Lomax.
Yeah, Jackie Lomax. Yeah. I've come to
another
really
Liverpool lad. That
Yes.
George helped out there a little bit. I'm going to agree with my partner here on the East Coast, and the first thing I thought of was unreleased songs was Leave My Kitten Alone. The energy in that song is infectious, and it's a shame that did not come out in the 60s because it would have been a real, real good album track. I know it was penciled in there for a single release there probably in the mid-'80s.
Yeah, it almost made it.
I think, yeah.
And it's when they were doing that, they were putting together that sessions compilation. They wanted to lead off with "Leave My Kitten Alone," and so that's one of the gems of really, I think, one of the best unreleased tracks that later came out. The energy on that song would have been a lot better than on Beatles for Sale than "Mr. Moonlight." I'll tell you that.
No question of that.
Great John vocal.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent.
Joe.
Yeah. All right. So, all right, you guys. Now you have to do. You have to. This has to be. You got to do this. You have to have lunch. It'll last at least
I'm
an
not
hour.
giving them. I'm not giving the archives up.
Maybe. Maybe you have. So you got to decide. Do you want? Do you want to eat the McCartney 3 album or no? I'm kidding. Or, you have to have lunch with one of these two people, and it's going to last at least it'll be like 90 minutes, an hour, 90 minutes. You have to eat lunch, socialize, talk. These two Beatles related people. Which one do you pick out of these two? And if you could tell us your reasoning. All right. The first one is Alan Klein, and the second one is Heather Mills. And you're the first. You have to have lunch with one of them. Got to be there for an hour and a half to talk.
God, foul, man, out of bounds. Tone, I gotta hear this one, man.
Oh God. I don't know. I think I'm a little bit scared of Alan Klein, so I think I'm going to go with Heather Mills.
I think I'm more scared of Heather.
No, I wouldn't be scared of Heather Mills. I don't know. What would I talk about with her? Oh, I have no idea. I don't know. She wouldn't talk with it.
I can think of a subject.
Oh God. I think it would be Heather Mills. But what I would actually say to her, I just don't know. It's too difficult off the top of my head. She's a stinker, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, good enough, I guess. Where's Andy? What happened?
Yeah, he'll be back.
He's sitting down. Huh? Okay.
I don't know. As much as I despise Alan Klein, I think he'll have the more interesting stories.
You think?
Yeah. Pick his brain and maybe ask him, why he did, what he did, with the musicians that he did it to.
Just watch out that when it comes time to pay the check, just watch out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, believe me. So I think I'm going to take Alan Klein, even though I hate everything about him business wise. I don't know him personally, but I know what he did business wise, and it stinks. But I think I would take Klein.
All right, Andy. What about you?
I'd take Klein too. I don't want any part of Heather Mills and her, adopt the minefield and all that crap and all her, trashy headlines. I'll take Alan Klein. I'll sit him down and I'll give him a little Jersey style because we were both. He was a Jersey guy. I was a Jersey guy, and I'd tell him, look, don't mess this band up. Don't. And I would kind of just give him a little bit of 90 minutes and say, look, I would just tell him not to do everything that he did. Don't force it. I would have just he wouldn't have been managing the Beatles after I had lunch with him. He wouldn't.
Well, I mean, I'm thinking that's true. Well, yeah, we have to put ourselves in the time because I guess I mean like now, but well, anyway, I came into this perfectly prepared to say Alan Klein, actually, believe it or not, because I was thinking, talking about a lot about John and finding out more about John and stuff. But then I thought, as I'm talking to Tone here, I'm thinking, no, maybe I'd pick Heather Mills. And the reason, folks, are you ready for this? That I just started thinking when I asked him is that, let me give you some of the dirt. Let's hear what goes on behind with Paul. He doesn't want anybody to know. You know what I mean? Kind of like all the dirt we know about everybody else.
How he took the engagement ring and threw it off the balcony. That's a legend that's out there.
How he hit your leg or hit you whatever he did, or hit you over the head with it or whatever. No, I don't know.
Hit it. He hit the leg, didn't he?
He hit it. I thought that was in The Sopranos. I thought they did that in The Sopranos.
They did. Janice took the leg from the rug.
No, but really, no. I don't want to make this an anti-Paul thing again or anything. But seriously, I really was thinking Klein, and as we went around, I thought about it more, and I thought, no, maybe I'd want to hear some of these alleged stories.
All right, cool,
good dinner. We're now over to Tone for number 4.
Okay, so remember the game? Remember the game that we had
Yeah,
last?
I like that stuff.
What did we call it? I can't remember now.
I don't know.
Crash,
Marry.
crash, or trash, or something like that.
Yes,
something like
pass,
that.
trash,
Well,
or
you get a choice of this time. It could be it's either 3 albums or 3 songs. You can you've got to never listen to one again. You throw it away. One you can listen to one more time, and then you've got to throw it away. And one you can listen forevermore. So you want to choose the one. So I've got them written down on pieces of paper with 1, 2, 3, 4. Tom, you're going first. So what number do you want?
Let's go number 1, baby.
Number 1. So you've got. Can you read that? Okay.
Yeah.
So Dragonfly, House of Wax, 1985. You've got to throw one of them in the trash. You're never going to hear it again. One of them.
House of Wax is gone.
Bye, Dragonfly.
That's right. One more. Listen to one more time. We're going Little Lamb Dragonfly. Listening to for the rest of my life, 1985.
Yeah. Okay. Andy.
4.
Number 4. This is a stinker. 3 tracks off the White Album. While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Helter Skelter, Happiness is a Warm Gun.
Oh boy. God almighty. I'm gonna trash Happiness is a Warm Gun. I'm gonna do one more listen of Helter Skelter, and I'm gonna keep While My Guitar Gently Weeps forever. Sorry, it's tough.
Yeah,
it was tough. It's supposed to be tough. There's no point if it's not tough. Joe,
I'm gonna go. Well, one was easy for me, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go for 3.
Bugger. Okay.
Oh, the Ringo album. Okay,
Yeah,
I got the albums.
Titled album or Back to the Egg.
Oh wow. Oh my! I can't believe this. As much as I love it, I'm going to trash the George Harrison self-titled album.
Wow.
I'm going to listen one more time to Back to the Egg, and I'm going to listen forever to Ringo.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Tone, that leaves you with what, 2?
Yes, number 2. It's not nice.
Whoa, it's not nice at all. I'm glad I didn't get that one.
God. Okay.
Well, what say you?
I am trashing Cloud 9. I can't even believe that I'm saying that. I'm gonna listen to Tug of War one more time for old time's sake, and I'm keeping Walls and Bridges. I think.
Well, you just made Joe's night.
It's tough.
Tough, but a fun game.
But it's no fun if it's easy. It's no good.
Right.
If you don't want it to be easy, the name of the game is to be tough. Good questions. Tomas.
Okay, that's a what if question here. Now, we all know that the Beatles owed UA a movie, United Artists, the movie. We know they came out with Let It Be, okay? But UA gave them an ultimatum, said, you just get out of the movie, or you have to do a remake. A sequel. You have to do a sequel to either Hard Day's Night or Help. Which film would you want? What film would you have them want to do a sequel to? A Hard Day's Night or a Help? And this is 1969. That still goes, but they have to do one because they owe UA a movie, and they want a sequel to either A Hard Day's Night or Help.
I think the most logical answer there is A Hard Day's Night, but given the parameters of where they were at in 1969, a sequel to A Hard Day's Night or Help was not really realistic. But if one could have happened, maybe the best shot would have been A Hard Day's Night. They could have just donned some suits and ran around and gotten trains and done some gigs on some stage and some theaters, running to the Bahamas and skiing and doing all these places. With Yoko in the picture would have been hard to do with help, but I think a sequel to A Hard Day's Night would have been more realistic in 1969. So that would be my answer.
Okay, Joe.
I'll take the other side. I would guess I would go with a sequel to Help, and just I don't know what they would do. Some other thing where maybe the cult that's after the Ring comes back for revenge or something, and they're continually now they look older, and they come back all these years later when the Beatles are now older, and the way they kind of looked in that scene in the airport.
Very good point, Joe. They kind of look like the '69 Beatles anyway.
Right. So right. they come back. It's now like 4 years or 4 or 5 years something after that, and now the curse goes on, and they got to pursue the Beatles again.
We're not going there.
we only put it round. We're going there.
Tone.
Okay, so I'm going to go for I'm going for Help 2, right?
Help 2, yeah, 2.
In which the Beatles go in search of a venue to do a concert to end the Let It Be film. So they go to Libya, and they go to Greece, and they go all these silly places to try and find a suitable venue. And what fun they have along the way! All sorts of disasters happen.
Oh boy!
Alan Klein turned up.
Tom, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would go A Hard Day's Night as well, and then just have Let It Be called A Hard Day's Night 2 or something or whatever. Because I mean, it really is kind of like they're with the Hard Day's Night was kind of like a day or a couple days in the life, right, of the band, and here you got a month in the life.
A Hard Day's Month.
A Hard Day's Month.
Very true. There you go, Joe. There you go.
So, and it ends in a concert, just pretty much like the Hard Day's Night does. So yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Hard Day's Night myself. So
good stuff.
And that is we got it in under an hour and a half. That is fantastic.
That was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long the last one was. I tried to make my answers and questions short and sweet.
Yeah. And, we'll try to keep getting better and better at that. But yeah, we definitely got it this under 2 hours, which is great. Tone, why don't you one more time promote your
this is what takes the extra time.
Yeah, real quick.
Okay, so my channel, Beatly Tone's Beatles channel, I just do all the normal stuff, deep dive reviews into albums, track reviews, book reviews, and just general thing. My next video is going to be my trip to Liverpool. I'm going to show everyone, what I got up to and what you can see in Liverpool. Do stuff on the Paul McCartney archive. Do a lot of stuff about solo Beatles, but it's just a channel.
There you go,
and a good one at that.
Yeah,
thank you.
And from one good channel to another, Joe.
Watch my channel, Mean Mr. Mayo. It's not here on the bottom. It just says Joe Mayo, Mean Mr. Mayo. I do a show called Fab Gab, among other things, where I have guests like this on, and we talk about different topics and everything. Tone will be back on that, I'm sure, pretty soon. And lots of other good videos.
Okay, very good. Myself, Tom Hunyadi, my partner, Andy Nichols. We are Two Legs, a Paul McCartney podcast. Please, if you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel. And subscribe to all of our channels, please. And we're going to wrap this baby up. This was part 2 of Stuck Inside These Four Walls. We hope you enjoyed. And we will see you next month.
Live, too, probably. But we'll confirm that. But yes.
Ooh.
Yes, live.
So
7, 6, 5.
Thank 4. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Tony. And we'll be back again for episode 3 in April. Peace out.
Okay.